was interesting also to you. And yeah, thank you also to Dr. Newton Man that you told us everything about this, that we can learn for our life. We can implement this in our life, because I think this is the most important for us, when we learn something, that we can implement this, and also for us and for our surrounding, for our family. So thank you very much. And thank you also for every participant that I could learn also from you a lot. Thank you.
Okay, so the topic for my course is causes and diagnosis of disease and practical aspect. And before we begin to understand and go in depth in disease, let us explore what is health. And Now we can scroll down towards. Okay, so open it here.
Yeah, Marvi.
Okay. Ma'am, I'll continue. I think we'll anyways be sending the presentation later. So ma'am, the whole, to me, it is not seen. I'll keep continuing, ma'am. No worries. Okay, so first we'll understand what is health. According to Ayurveda, health is actually the balance, harmony, and equilibrium of our three doshas, our agnis, dhatus, malas, which is results in a pleasant sense organs, mind, and content soul. And I've also added the uh, a definition of health by WHO, which again says that it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. This definition actually played a very vital role when I started with yoga and learned this. And the reason I'll share with you in the next slide that we'll explore is disease. Because in today's day and age, what has happened is there has become a normalization of disease. Before we go into that, let us quickly see what Sage Charak believed to be what is disease. It is unwholesome blend of the sense organs with their objects, the intellectual blasphemy, and result of wrong combination of time, which are causes of disease. And we'll explore these three aspects in depth. And so before we go into that, the root causes of all diseases are which is basically developed, which is the arm which is toxic, and so the imbalanced state of intellect, our function of senses, time, and whether these are low, inadequate, or excess in the body, which eventually go on to disturb our three doshas, the vata, pitta, and kapha, and negatively impacting our physical and mental health, causing illness. Samyoga is actually the balanced state of all of this. Uh, Diseases are also based on the cause and effect principle, which is basically we know what we should be doing, not doing it. So, of course, the effect, we will not receive the desired effect, which is good health. And coming back to normalization of disease, as I had said in the WHO definition of health, um, as the WHO definition of health, that the disease is not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, and as we see, no, yeah, the normalization of disease. So what has happened in today's day and age? My sister, who is currently suffering from PCOD, says, there are so many people today, or so many women, unfortunately, suffering from PCOD, or a lot of people suffering from diabetes. What happens in that case is people begin to believe that just because a lot of people are suffering from it, that makes it okay. But it really does not. It is really not okay. And I began to realize that, even having little, issues here and there is not okay. The idea is to really be working to be completely not just free of, absence of disease or infirmity, but to be in full energy and in full strength. That brings us to our role of arm. So we are now getting into the causes of diseases. So the key cause, of course, is the development of arm. Arm basically is what happens is the half digested food or is the unabsorbed food. Just as we keep the food outside, say suppose if the food is kept outside in the summers and it's left out for days at ends or month at ends, it begins to of course develop fungus and other things. Similarly, that's how it acts within our stomach, where the food is just kept there, and there. So yeah, of course, there's a lot of buildup of bad bacteria, and also when the food is not absorbed properly, what it does is the continuation of that happens to develop amvish or more toxicity in its highest form. Because of circulation, these toxins begin to get circulated and impact the weak organs that are not functioning properly, and results in chronic diseases and other diseases. What The arm is created by wrong diet, discipline, and lifestyle. Let us look at the practical application of the formation of a role of arm. So what? Uh, yeah. So of course, toxic diet in today's day and age, there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of fads and trends out there that people are following. And of course, the packaged foods, maida. Like I wanted to give a small example of dosa, idli, also which is the right things also eaten at the wrong time, as we have seen proved to be toxic, like in a lot of non like say in Mumbai or in other regions of India, non South Indian regions where South Indian food is eaten. I've noticed sometimes it's also very heavily consumed during night time, but if South Indian diet is seen, fermented food is not eaten so much during the night time, as it is as it is not suitable for many prakriti or most prakritis really. So, and also in the case of no discipline, what happens is I'd like to share again the example of my sister, which is very common in today's day and age, because of very fast-paced urban lifestyle. My sister was an architect student, so right away from the age of 16, when they go into college, her architecture course required like hours and hours at end of and people who have of course like Nutan ma'am, and who would know the pressures as a student, or other doctors here on the course, of how when they as student had really to forego a good lifestyle, because of the pressures of education and modern life. Reason why, so today she's suffering from PCOD and has realizes the importance and is making changes. And toxic lifestyle today are this also talks about in terms of just our lifestyle and also the environment. There is so much toxicity within our homes that we are unaware of. Now that when I was setting up homes, I became very conscious of how everything from our clothes to our carpets, everything is made up of polyester, everything is made up of plastic really. So made a conscious effort to make the first begin with the kitchen, making the kitchen plastic free, eventually working towards reducing waste in the house, reducing plastic in the house for health also, which also of course has an impact on the environment. And quickly also want to mention here about lifestyle, that in our schools we are really not taught stress management, lifestyle management, self management, which we are learning here on this course, which of course again goes on to have a, negative impact. We'll further explore, in addition to arm, three causes of diseases. As shared earlier, it is Pranaprad, that is intellectual blasphemy, Astamindriyarth Samyoga, that is, improper engagement of sense organs, which either we are over engaging our organs, very common that we are in front of our screens 24/7, in front of, sitting in front of television for hours at end, even after we are tired. and or irregular engagement, sometimes too much, sometimes too less, not in proper balance. And lastly, it's kal parinam, change occurring over time, that is ati yoga, hin yoga, or mithya yoga again, that is very harsh temperatures, mild or opposing temperatures, where it should be winters in India this time. In some regions, we actually had a lot of rains during those months. We'll also look at the practical application of those. I have shared the image of uh, ma'am, we can be on the same slide, ma'am, of the seven. Yeah, I wanted to share this image here. This is put up in New York in Union Square. So actually, it is key because these numbers that you see here initially showed the economic or the stock exchange rates and all of that. And as of last month, they changed it to show how much time we have left here on the planet. And this is in taking care in terms of our how the impact of our environment. So it shows here that 7 is the years. We have 7 years left to work on making the environment more stable. After 7 years, it is said that the things will be out of hand. What we see today happening, drought conditions, flood conditions, pandemics, and all of that. After 7 years, it will become so common that that living life on earth will be destroyed in large counts, large numbers, and we will not have control over it. So again, very, very important, which was seen in the third cause of disease in Kala Parinam. So if we don't take care of our time here on the planet, our planet, it will become, yeah, very worse. So engagement of senses, again, want to give a quick example of how my parents would had yeah, my parents would watch television before sleeping all the time because there was a television inside their rooms. And sometimes in practical application it becomes very difficult to just say, okay, we should not be watching television. But as I put in intellectual blasphemy, there's this excellent book called Atomic Habits that says that just saying something that I will not do this does not make it happen. What you really need to do is remove the cues, which is remove the television itself. And that is what I did for my parents. I removed the television from their room. So if they have to see, they have to sit in the hall. And the moment they start getting tired, they automatically shut the television and go inside the room and sleep. So, implementing things like that. And also in terms of our sense organs, uh, so that is like over engagement, under engagement. And I know in under engagement we are guilty of tuning our spouses or our mothers out when we know we should not, and we listen to them. uh, Moving on, yes, to our natural urges of body and mind. So this is again part of causes of diseases. We should not be stopping these natural urges, which is passing wind, to defecate, to urinate, thirst, hunger, belch, sleep, breathe, crying, yawning, vomiting, our sexual desires, and coughing. It is very commonly seen when people would be in offices because of key things. They would not go to urine for hours at end, which would eventually result in kidney stones and a lot of other health issues. So this should strictly be avoided. Then, of course, we come to Nidhan. Oh, sorry, I missed the controllable aspect. Yes, the dharmiya vega, which is greed, grief, fear, anger, envy, jealousy, and excessive attachment. Like I mentioned earlier, because unfortunately in our schools, in our modern day education, we are not taught self-management, we are not taught relationship management, anger management, stress management. So what happens throughout most our teenage and adult life, we are struggling with all of these emotions, grappling with, how to tackle all these emotions, and beating ourselves up, either blaming ourselves. And yeah, by God's grace, like I really had the blessings of getting this knowledge early on, which really made my relationships at work with people easy, gave me knowledge how to tackle it, how to tackle my own emotions, how to deal with these emotions, and positively tackle, which has also come as a blessing in my married life, where I have learned to beforehand tackle, there are these preconceived notions of, how mother-in-laws are or how sasural is, and these stereotypes, and how marriages turn to be after a number of years. And yeah, but thankfully, because of this knowledge, it is very easy to turn around everything into positive and really build amazing, beautiful relations. Again, for cause, we also come to Nidhan. So Nidhan is what depicts the cause and the symptoms of the disease. So Nidhan can be in any, from either in the Dravya or either in a guna of that, or even in the karma, which is the after effects of after what you have consumed, that can create imbalance in the three doshas and dhatus, which again is happening either rog karak or rog bodhak, either because of food, your lifestyle, your medication. And the a modern day medication, that is your allopathy, sometimes tends to have a more negative impact in terms of side effects, which also needs to be taken into consideration. Now with Nidan, uh, we move to a diagnosis. I've taken quick notes here. Okay, so diagnosis. Before we move forward, I just quickly want to mention the Ashtavid and the Dashtavid Pariksha. In the Ashtavid Pariksha, there is Nadi Pariksha, Jiva Pariksha, Shabda Pariksha, Sparsh Pariksha, Netra Pariksha, Akruti Pariksha, Mutra Pariksha, and Mala Pariksha. That is pulse, tongue, voice, skin, eyes, your general appearance or the body appearance examination, urine examination, and stool examinations. And your Dashvid Pariksha, of course, includes your Prakriti, physical constitution, Vikruti, pathological, Sara, Samna, Pramans, Satmya, Sattva, Ahar, Vyayam, and Vai, which of course includes your physical, pathological conditions of tissue, body framework, mental constitution, Agni, capacity of exercise, and age plays an important role. So these are some of the factors taken into consideration in the first time for diagnosis by Ayurvedic doctors. So tongue examination, I shared pictures of arm and ram tongue here. Also, in addition to whiteness coating, I found this good little information online that ma'am had also shared with us about the redness, the cracks on the skin, the shaky tongue, which can tend to, can be a sign of fear or anxiety, and teeth marks on the side indicating armor in the body. I've also shared the Nadi Pariksha picture with Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, as we were beautifully taught in the video. Um, so yes, of course, not only is this used by Ayurvedic doctors for Prakriti examination, but also with experience can immediately tell what are the issues and issues the body is facing. Yeah, which is so beautiful science, of our beautiful Vedic knowledge and Ayurvedic knowledge. Which surpasses, a lot of examinations today. Right. And so, Palk, I've just added this extra information with what found it very interesting what Ayurvedic doctors look for, like the Gati, Vega, Tala, Bala, Akruti, Tapman, and Kathinya, for when they're looking for during pulse examination. So yes, in terms of Pariksha, I mentioned the Nari, Mudra, Mala, Sparsha, the eight aspects. As mentioned, the Nadi Pariksha, your stool, we can ourselves examine our mala, and always be conscious and aware. Yes, moving on to practical aspect. With all that information, this is from my personally, I've felt that a lot of things can be very overwhelming, like learning a lot of things on this course, wondering what to implement, eating, having sabza every day, having amla every day, doing this, becoming conscious of ritu sandhi, becoming there's a lot of knowledge in addition to this, of course, managing our own lifestyles, taking care of our planet, taking care of our society, and all of that was very overwhelming for me. So what I did, I broke it down into steps. steps and taking it one step at a time. Taking, like, for this week, this is one good thing that I will do. For the second week, this is how, and I will make it a habit. And I have realized with a lot of participants, yoga patients that I work with in therapy, that if it is not a habit, then we don't continue with it. Like, it is good to hear that, okay, we should have Avna every day. We may implement it for a few weeks, but if it's not included in our habit routine and our daily practice, then we lose it after 30 days. So I've also become conscious of how to make it a habit and ensure it continues for a long time. To do that, initially it becomes very difficult to, maybe for me personally, it was difficult to do that by myself, to make sure that I practice yoga every day for 1 hour, or personal yoga, not in terms of teaching, or to make sure that a diet or is maintained in a certain way. So what I did initially to begin with was I took help from instructors. There are teachers, parents, family. Now we have this wonderful group of we are in this together, so can of course help each other out. We have Nutan ma'am to make sure that this does not just continue for 1 month, for just a lifetime. So yes, and it is important to be authentic to yourself and everyone around you in the process. Speak, express, and share. In speak, express, and share, I just wanted to point out the case study of my mother, who has suffered from cancer. And we notice in today's day and age that a lot of people with healthy bodies also tend to suffer from issues. And in my mother's case, we figured out it was because she does not share her emotions and does not share or speak out, which becomes very important, because even that also builds up toxicity in the body. Keeping everything within, of course, has an impact on your mind eventually, or has an impact on your organs. So please speak, express, and share. But more importantly, smile, laugh, be in joy, acceptance, and be happy. To quickly end, let's continue to work towards a sharp intellect, a warm heart, and strong body, a cool mind, a soft stomach, and warm feet. Because if it is the opposite way, if we have a warm, toasty mind or a hot mind and a hard stomach and cold feet, that means our body is in big problem. So yes, let's work towards this together. Thank you.